In a shocking revelation that has left fans reeling and hearts heavy, a cast member from the long-running reality show Sister Wives has come forward with a deeply emotional confession, one that involves months of silence, internal struggle, and the weighty burden of secrecy. For years, Sister Wives has offered viewers a window into the complex dynamics of plural marriage, showcasing the triumphs and tribulations of the Brown family. But this revelation has brought a new level of emotional intensity to the series, unearthing a story that few could have anticipated. A core member of the Brown family has now disclosed that they kept a devastating secret for months: her husband's cancer diagnosis. In the name of love and protection, this wife decided to hide the truth from their children, fearing the emotional toll such news could take on them. The decision, as she now admits, weighed heavily on her heart and mind every single day, and while some may question her choice, the emotional turmoil behind it cannot be overstated. Her heartbreaking story is not just a personal confession but a narrative that taps into universal fears of mortality, family breakdown, and the desire to shield loved ones from pain. As fans of Sister Wives know, the Brown family has always operated under an unusual and often controversial framework of polygamy, with Kody Brown as the patriarch of multiple wives. While the show's focus has often rested on Kody's evolving relationships with his wives, especially amid divorce, emotional distance, and jealousy, this latest development shifts the lens toward a different kind of family struggle. In this instance, the story is not about plural marriage, but about what it means to carry someone else's pain and to make life-altering decisions based on instinct, fear, and maternal love. The cast member in question, whose identity was initially kept under wraps to protect the family's privacy, later revealed herself to be someone fans have grown to love for her strength, honesty, and resilience. She has now opened up about how difficult it was to go through this experience while the cameras were rolling, while the world was watching her every move, and while her children remained blissfully unaware of the storm quietly building within their family. She recalls sleepless nights filled with tears, moments of almost telling the truth, and times when she looked into her children's eyes and felt the overwhelming urge to break the silence but chose not to for their sake. The decision to remain silent didn't come easily. According to her, the diagnosis came out of nowhere. Her husband had been experiencing vague symptoms, fatigue, some weight loss, and intermittent pain, but nothing that screamed cancer to either of them. It was only after persistent discomfort that they decided to pursue further testing, never expecting to hear the words that would change everything. The diagnosis was not only unexpected but brutally harsh. The cancer, they were told, was advanced. Time was not on their side. And in that moment, the world seemed to stop. She described the surreal experience of hearing the doctor say the word cancer, and the way it felt like being thrown underwater, struggling to breathe, unable to grasp reality. Her husband, she says, was calm and brave, even trying to comfort her despite being the one whose body was now under attack. But almost immediately, the question of the children came into focus. Should they be told right away? Should they carry this fear too? Or should they be allowed a few more months of normalcy before the truth became unavoidable? The choice, she says, was agonizing. Ultimately, the couple agreed to keep it quiet for now. They vowed to face the treatment process together, away from the cameras and, most importantly, away from the children's knowledge. She began compartmentalizing her life. During the day, she played the role of the strong, smiling mother. At night, she wept silently in the bathroom, hiding her fears so thoroughly that not even her closest confidants suspected what she was going through. While the cameras captured scenes of family dinners, casual conversations, and seasonal traditions, a hidden battle was raging behind closed doors. The physical toll of chemotherapy on her husband became harder and harder to hide. He grew paler, thinner, and increasingly fatigued. At times, they told the kids he had a flu bug or that his back was acting up again. Every lie came with a dose of guilt, but they clung to the belief that they were doing the right thing. As months went by, their burden only grew heavier. The treatment had ups and downs. There were days of hope when scans suggested the cancer might be responding. And then there were dark days when new symptoms emerged or when side effects became unbearable. Throughout it all, she continued to protect her children from the terrifying reality, until she couldn't anymore. The turning point came one evening when their youngest child found her crying in the kitchen. It wasn't the first time she had cried, but it was the first time she'd been caught. When asked what was wrong, she struggled to find an answer that wasn't a lie. In that moment, she knew the time had come. The facade had served its purpose, but the emotional cost was too great to bear any longer. Gathering all of her courage, she and her husband sat their children down and delivered the news. What followed, she said, was an explosion of emotions: tears, anger, confusion, and above all, fear. The children had questions she didn't know how to answer. They wanted to know if their father was going to die. They wanted to know why they hadn't been told sooner. And perhaps most heartbreakingly, they wanted to know if things would ever go back to the way they were. She admits that their reactions haunted her for weeks. While some of the children ultimately understood her decision, others felt betrayed. One of her teenage daughters reportedly said, "You should have trusted us. We could have handled it." That statement, she says, was like a dagger to the heart. For days, she replayed those words over and over, wondering if she had done more harm than good. But she also knows that in the moment, she did what she thought was right. The public reaction to her revelation has been largely sympathetic. Many fans, especially mothers, expressed support and understanding. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of compassion and encouragement, with many saying they would have made the same decision if faced with such an unimaginable situation. But not everyone agreed. Some critics questioned the ethics of keeping such a significant diagnosis from the children, arguing that the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a lie. In response, she remained measured and humble. She acknowledged the differing opinions and said that she welcomes open dialogue. However, she also emphasized that every family is different, and there is no universal playbook for how to handle tragedy. Her priority, she said, was always her children's emotional well-being, and that priority hasn't changed. As the news spread, the cast member also opened up about the immense support she received from fellow Sister Wives members. Despite past tensions and estrangements among the wives, several reportedly reached out with messages of solidarity and love. Even those who had publicly distanced themselves from the family dynamic expressed empathy, showing that when real-life hardship strikes, old grievances can momentarily fade. Kody Brown, the family patriarch, remained publicly silent about the matter for some time. However, insiders revealed that he was deeply moved by the situation and offered private support to the couple. Whether this development will lead to any form of reconciliation or renewed unity within the fractured Brown family remains to be seen. But for now, what matters most is the shared humanity of the situation, a family in crisis grappling with fear and love in equal measure. Today, the husband in question is still undergoing treatment. The prognosis remains cautious but not hopeless. The family is focused on each day, taking small victories where they can and leaning on each other more than ever before. The children, though initially shaken, have begun adjusting to their new reality. They have shown remarkable strength, proving that the love and openness of their parents, even delayed, was enough to help them face the truth. The cast member has since taken on a new role, not just as a mother or wife, but as an advocate for cancer awareness and mental health within families. She hopes her story can serve as a beacon for others going through similar situations. "If even one family feels less alone after hearing what we went through," she said in a recent interview, "then sharing this wasn't in vain." As Sister Wives continues to air and evolve, fans will likely see more glimpses of this deeply personal chapter in the family's life. But no matter what the cameras capture next, this revelation has already carved a lasting impact. It has reminded audiences that behind the reality TV drama, these are real people, people who love, fear, and fight for each other just like any family. In the end, this story is not only about a cancer diagnosis. It is about the complexity of love, the pain of silence, and the courage it takes to face life's darkest moments. For the Brown family and for the millions of viewers watching them, this chapter is a sobering reminder that some of the most powerful moments in life are those that never make it to the screen, until someone finds the strength to speak them aloud. In a world where reality television offers an intimate glimpse into the personal lives of polygamist families, Sister Wives continues to stir conversation, raise eyebrows, and elicit powerful emotional reactions from fans. One of the most enduring and complex figures on the series, Mary Brown, has long captivated viewers with her stoic resilience and deeply layered emotional journey. Following her spiritual separation from Kody Brown and the implosion of the once unified plural family, Meri has often maintained a measured and thoughtful silence, choosing her words with care and deliberation. However, in a recent wave of fan speculation and heated online discourse, Meri Brown found herself at the center of controversy yet again, this time accused of still protecting Kody Brown and his last remaining wife, Robyn Brown. Her calm but pointed response is causing a storm of renewed interest and mixed reactions among Sister Wives followers. As the family dynamic of the Brown clan continues to unravel and evolve on and off screen, viewers have become increasingly critical of those they believe are enabling the problematic behaviors of Kody and Robyn. In recent seasons, Kody's favoritism toward Robyn became glaringly apparent, leaving many fans accusing him of emotional neglect, manipulation, and authoritarian behavior toward his other wives. While Christine and Yanel chose to walk away and speak out, Meri's stance has remained somewhat ambiguous. For some, her silence suggests dignity and discretion. For others, it appears complicit and perhaps even cowardly. When a comment surfaced accusing her of still protecting Kody and Robyn, Meri's rare and introspective clapback both shocked and enlightened viewers. Taking to social media, where she often shares motivational quotes, cryptic reflections, and updates about her bed and breakfast, Meri finally addressed the growing whispers. Rather than directly name Kody or Robyn, Meri wrote with poise, stating that some things are better left unsaid, and elaborated that not everything is for public consumption, not even when living under the microscope of reality TV. She emphasized the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and recognizing that healing sometimes involves protecting one's own peace instead of retaliating publicly. This declaration left fans divided. Some applauded her restraint, interpreting her message as a sign of growth and emotional maturity. Others felt that Meri's refusal to lay bare her truths, especially after being subjected to years of mistreatment, was indicative of continued allegiance to Kody and Robyn, the two cast members most widely criticized in recent years for their role in the family's breakdown. Viewers demanded to know why Meri, who has shared her grief and feelings of isolation in past seasons, would now refrain from finally telling her side of the story in its entirety. It's worth noting that Meri's journey within the Brown family has always been led with heartbreak, perseverance, and spiritual conflict. As the first wife in a plural marriage that eventually welcomed 3 additional wives, Meri once held a unique place in Kody's life. However, with time, that relationship eroded, especially after the legally binding divorce that allowed Kody to marry Robyn and adopt her children. Although Meri remained spiritually married to Kody for years after that, their relationship grew more distant and emotionally fractured, with Meri often shown yearning for connection while Kody appeared emotionally withdrawn and detached. This emotional chasm widened dramatically after the catfishing scandal, which Meri has openly discussed in past episodes. That incident not only fractured trust between her and Kody, but also created a chasm that never truly healed. While Meri expressed remorse and vulnerability, Kody's response seemed cold and dismissive, leading many viewers to accuse him of emotional abuse and hypocrisy. Even as their connection deteriorated, Meri continued to publicly support the Brown family's broader mission and upheld a respectful public demeanor toward both Kody and Robyn. In her recent response to critics, Meri insisted that discretion does not equal deception. She expressed that while it may be satisfying for some to see how exposed certain individuals or events, she chooses to maintain grace and avoid feeding into cycles of toxicity. She wrote, "I know my truth. That's enough for me. Not everything needs to be shouted into the void." That statement, while noble to some, reignited anger in those who believe that the remaining silence enables the continued mistreatment of others and shields Kody and Robyn from accountability. Behind the scenes, sources close to the production of Sister Wives suggest that Meri has been approached multiple times to speak more openly in future tell-alls or even write a memoir, but she remains hesitant. One insider explained that Meri is deeply aware of the impact her words could have on the family's remaining cohesion, and possibly the children, some of whom remain close to Robyn or Kody. This concern may be influencing her decision to temper her public responses. Still, others argue that her silence feeds the perception that she is choosing loyalty over truth. Meanwhile, Robyn Brown, who has largely remained silent amid growing scrutiny, continues to be the lightning rod of fan outrage. With Yanel and Christine stepping into their independence and rebuilding their lives outside the polygamous framework, Robyn has become the symbol of everything that went wrong in the family's plural journey. Yet, in interviews and the last tell-all episode, she claimed to have never wanted to be the last wife standing and said the current situation breaks her heart. Viewers were quick to challenge that narrative, pointing to years of behaviors and choices they believe proved otherwise. In this emotional whirlwind, Mary's latest statement adds fuel to an already smoldering fire. Fans are now combing through her social media posts with renewed vigor, looking for hidden meanings and clues about where her loyalties truly lie. Despite this scrutiny, Mary continues to post motivational quotes and updates about her personal ventures, seemingly distancing herself from the escalating feud that continues to tear at the core of the Brown family legacy. Many longtime fans wonder if Mary is still emotionally attached to Kody or if her continued neutrality is a sign of internalized trauma and emotional fatigue. Some even suggest that her experience in the family, shaped by decades of spiritual commitment, has led to a kind of psychological entanglement that is difficult to undo even after separation. Others believe she's quietly working on herself and preparing for a powerful rebirth outside of the Brown family saga. In light of her response, speculation swirls that Mary could be biding her time, gathering strength, rebuilding herself, and waiting for the right moment to tell her side of the story in full. Whether that moment ever comes remains to be seen, but her recent remarks have certainly laid the groundwork for what could eventually be a powerful reckoning. In a family where secrets, silence, and selective storytelling have long reigned supreme, Mary's insistence that some things deserve to be kept quiet strikes a delicate balance between protecting one's peace and denying the truth its voice. Supporters of Mary argue that it's unfair to demand she bare her soul for public consumption when her entire life has already been subjected to cameras, judgment, and dissection for over a decade. They suggest that her right to privacy is as sacred as any truth she could reveal. Critics counter that silence in the face of dysfunction, especially when one has the platform and influence to speak out, can be just as harmful as complicity. These two camps continue to clash in online forums, creating a polarizing space where Mary is simultaneously admired for her strength and criticized for her restraint. Through it all, Mary remains a figure of enigmatic strength, wounded but unbroken, weary but resilient. Her recent remarks do not offer the explosive revelations some were hoping for, but they do hint at an inner world more complex and guarded than the show has ever fully captured. The weight of her experience, the intricacies of her relationships, and the emotional cost of her choices remain subjects of endless fascination for fans who have followed her journey from the very beginning. What lies ahead for Mary Brown remains uncertain. Will she eventually write a tell-all memoir, detailing the highs and lows of a life lived in the public eye and in spiritual servitude? Or will she continue to walk the path of quiet dignity, choosing peace over publicity? Only time will tell, but for now, her words have reignited a conversation that continues to resonate across social media, fan communities, and beyond. In the ever-evolving story of sister wives, where love, faith, betrayal, and resilience intersect in powerful and painful ways, Mary Brown's voice, or lack thereof, continues to shape the narrative. Whether she is protecting Kody and Robyn, protecting herself, or simply seeking peace, one thing is clear: her story is far from over and the world is still listening.